Tonight is our last Maximize Your Mind of the season, which is sad, but we are very lucky to know that Peak is going to be coming back next year. So that is great to complement your in-person sports. We're very lucky tonight to once again be joined by the guy you all have come to know through our Peak 4 seasons. So Frank of the Mountain, Frank Vandenberg is back with us tonight, rocking our matching Peak buffs. So take it away, Frank.
Thank you, Kiefer. Just want to make sure that you can hear me okay. Can give me a thumbs up, Kiefer. Thanks very much, because it was breaking up a little bit earlier. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing fine this Monday evening. And as I know, it's week 8 of your peak journey, the trek to the peak of the mountain. Week 8 is just starting, I guess. You still have some work to do, which today is a great kind of kickoff. I hope you like my background. This is a picture my wife took last week, and I figure it's a perfect background for Zoom. I hope you like it as well. And for the occasion, I put on my Special Olympics Alberta buff. And maybe just as an icebreaker to get started, how do you use your buff? Maybe put it in the chat, how you use your buff. I use it in 2 ways. The first way is what you can see right now. When I go swimming or snorkeling, I put on a buff on my head, because when you're snorkeling, the sun beats on your head, and I don't want to get a burned head. I'm a little bald there, so I put a buff on so I don't get sunburned. So I'm using it for swimming and snorkeling. And in the winter, when I'm not snorkeling because it's a little cold and the lakes are frozen, I use it for snowshoeing to keep my neck warm. I just basically pull it down, and you know how it works. And cross-country skiing and snowshoeing, that is what I use it for. And I'm just going to look into the chat to see if there's anyone say how you use it. Well, of course, as face mask, why not? You know, it's something you can protect your face with. Headband, mask, and lots. Neck warmer in the winter. So a lot of the same kind of usage. That's great. Thank you for letting me know. So my name is Frank. I've been with you many times, every Peak program, probably once or twice. Again, Peak program 4, and I've prepared, I think, a really good, cool session again for us. First, I'm gonna, kind of tell you, and I'm gonna share my screen. Yeah, it's a logo I love. You're trekking up a mountain towards the peak, as Kiefer just alluded to. Mountain is in my name. Vandenberg means from the mountain or of the mountain. And so I'm really attracted to mountains. So the fact that you're doing this over and over again and keep hiking and keep trekking and keep doing your good work is really, really inspiring to me. So it's, I think, a great metaphor, a great kind of image that we can use. And I think in today's session, we're going to use a little bit of that imagery in one of the exercises we're going to do together. Okay. Now, I also noticed that the bingo card is out for week 8. I just saw it on the website, and I put it on the slide here. As I was just interested what your tasks and assignments are. And obviously, there's lots of exercise and nutrition and hydration. And, you also want to share a photo of you rocking your Peak buff. Well, I'm going to show it today, right now. I'm going to take it off shortly because I'm getting a little warm here under this buff right now. And I also noticed that there is a little bit of a free space. Now, every bingo card has a free space. I assume you can do whatever you want that keeps you healthy and nourished and fit. So why don't you pick from tonight's session 1 or 2 activities that you can put in your free space? Hasn't been pre-booked, but maybe there's something that you would like to pick from. And I think there's lots of choices that you can go through. So keep your minds open, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open to see what you see and what you really like to add to your bingo card this week to finish strong week 8. Okay, so in 2010 was a great big year for me because I was just in Canada 5 years. I come from the Netherlands overseas, and I was working with bobsleigh teams going into the Vancouver Olympics. And there was a great night where the 2 women's teams won silver and gold. So it was a pretty marvelous evening. Those Vancouver games were great, just as a new immigrant to this country to be working with Team Canada. And that year I got invited by Team Alberta for the first time to be working with Special Olympics Alberta. And so I was so happy to join the team to London, Ontario, where those national summer games were held. So I like working with all kinds of sports. So on the next page, you can see a number of different sports that I have been fortunate enough to work with. Now, I want to kind of see if you can figure out what all these sports are. Some are a little bit more obvious, but others are maybe not the ones you expect. So these are, mostly, there's winter sports, there's summer sports, there's a bit of team sport, individual sports, but do you recognize all these sports? And just put it in the chat if you see what you see, and maybe give it a shot to when you think, well, that's this team or that's that sport. So I can tell you on the left top, it's alpine skiing downhill. That goes very fast. What also goes fast is top middle, which is skeleton, almost luge, not quite. Luge is when you're going on down the track on your back with your feet first. Skeleton is when you run down the hill and go on the sled head first, which is a little crazy, but those athletes like doing that. Now on the left bottom, you probably know what sport that is. That is probably gymnastics. Then probably on the podium, you probably don't quite know because we don't see what they're doing, but this is biathlon, where they do cross-country skiing and shooting, target shooting. And then the team in the middle that is posing is artistic swimming, which is also really, really tough because they do their sport 3.5 minutes mostly underwater. Can you imagine? That takes quite a bit of effort. And on the right bottom is a target shooter, standing still, trying to focus, and aim and shoot. And on the top right is me enjoying skiing. So I like a lot of different sports. You can see on this busy slide all the different sports I've been working with. On the right side, you see all the sports that I've been working with in the Netherlands. All mental training, all sports psychology. Maybe you recognize some of those sports. Maybe you've done some of those sports. And on the left side, you see all the sports I've been working with in Canada. And in yellow is I've indicated those sports and those programs that I'm currently involved in. So you can see that Special Olympics has a place right there. So that's my involvement in sport. And why do I like it so much? Because we all talk about mental health and mental fitness and mental training. We all work on confidence, and we all work on working around nerves or thinking strategies or focusing strategies or visualization strategies. And all those mental skills are all very, very effective, but how you apply them in different sports is a little different. You apply it very different in bobsleigh than you would do it in synchronized swimming or in artistic swimming. You apply it very different in, let's say, tennis compared to wrestling. So it's all mental training, it's all sports psychology, but the sports are different, and therefore how you apply it is also a little bit different. So I really like working in that variety of sports and working with all the people that do the sport. What I would like to focus on tonight is basically how we can take good care of ourselves. We know that if we are well, if we take care of ourselves, if we apply a little bit of what we call psychological hygiene, we we don't only feel well, we can also train better and we can perform better. So it's really important to keep ourselves in great shape. And that's what you're doing with the Peak program. So let me give you a few pointers, a few strategies, a few ideas about how you can apply this psychological hygiene and really recharge that battery, the mental skills and assets that you have. So we want to always see if we can charge the battery up as high as we can. And so what can we do to help with that? We can do different things. And I'm going to give you some ideas about what these different things are. We're going to just go step by step. And in the end, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. And then we're going to do a little bit of a review on what you have taken away from the Peak program. So one thing that would help to stay well, to apply that psychological hygiene, to take care of ourselves, is to work on your tolerance, on your emotional tolerance. That's a little bit of a difficult concept, but let me try to explain it. We have gone and continue to go through this roller coaster rides, where sometimes it's good and it works for us, and sometimes it's really depressing, or it's frustrating, or we feel lonely, or we don't like it. And then maybe there's another time in which we can feel better again. Now, this roller coaster definitely has happened through this whole pandemic with COVID. And, therefore, we also would like to kind of really realize and acknowledge what some of these experiences and what some of these emotions are. On the left side, you can see some of those more negative experiences, those feelings that we typically don't like. On the right side, you can see that there's also something that's more positive, a little bit more upbeat, something that we can feel better about. And would you agree with me that both do happen? We can't be always happy. We're likely not always happy. And hopefully we're not always sad as well. But they come and these feelings and experiences come and go. And it's really important to really realize that this is very normal. This is human. We are all human beings, so we feel. And sometimes we feel good and sometimes we don't feel so good. What emotional tolerance means is that we actually acknowledge the type of feeling that we're having, that we're experiencing, and that we're okay with that. We may not always like it, but it's okay to feel. It's even okay to feel emotional. And you can, as you're kind of acknowledging it, you're actually starting to diffuse it. You're taking some of the sting away from it. You're already starting to feel maybe a bit better by realizing the way that the types of feeling that you're having. So, there's different ways that we can do to give those feelings a place, and I'm going to give you a few examples in a few slides. So that's emotional tolerance. Now, this is a very busy. Oh no, this is the slide that I was forgetting about. If we're in rough waters, if it's getting tough, if we're kind of stretched, we need to drop our anchor. We need to come to a bit of a stop, a halt. We shouldn't keep going. We should take a couple of steps back, because we need to reset ourselves. We need to recompose. And if we keep going, it's really hard to make some changes. So sometimes we need to just slow it down. And I just use this idea of dropping your anchor and just staying put for a little bit, not stretching yourself more. And just realizing that, some of these stresses are hitting us, but we also have ways to actually do something about it, something against it. Okay. And there's many different ways. So here on the left side, you see this picture about the stress button and the relax button. And sometimes the stress button is being pushed. We are being pushed by stress. I would like you to know that there is also a button that we can hit to actually start relaxing again, being a little bit more peaceful, calm it down, drop your anchor, take a step back. And this busy list is, there is so many words here, and I'm just going to briefly talk through them a little bit. Okay, so think about what stresses you, because when you start thinking about what stresses you, maybe you can start finding ways what you can do about them. Okay, maybe not being as impacted by some of those stressors. Sometimes we need to not be in our heads too much and reduce some information, taking breaks from news, taking breaks from social media, spend a bit of time by ourselves and doing things that are healthy for us. It's super important to connect with others and really share and express what we are feeling, what we're worried about, what our concerns are. What you're doing here in Peak program is exactly the right thing, because you're taking care of your body, you're exercising, you're eating well, I hope you're sleeping well. And all of those things will help recharge your batteries. Super important. Now, the wonders of nature, spend time outdoors and benefit from Mother Nature's healing effects. Usually it's very, very good for us to take a sniff of fresh air, to enjoy the trees, to have a walk by the river, to go to the park. As the weather is okay, we're able to do that. And so it's really, really good to be trying to get outdoors. Now, you've learned a lot about different breathing exercises, relaxation exercises. They are really, really helpful. I'm not going to completely repeat one. I'm going to do a new one. But it's also really good to cuddle with other people or with dogs or pets. Super relaxing, super good. And you can also try new hobbies or activities that are, that you can put your mind to. Think about what you can do with your time and do something new that you haven't done before. And really that keeps you occupied, keeps you busy. You have something to do. There's a purpose. And, when it gets a little bit more intense, maybe you want to change it up with some lighter activities, watching, reading something amusing, maybe playing a game. So these are all those options. And don't you think there's tons of them? So you can look at a slide and think, okay, which one do I pick? Which one or two can I do to help myself? Really, really important. Maximize your mind is also taking care of yourself and taking care of some of those stresses and do something different with them. Now, you've learned also quite a bit about mindfulness, meditation, different types of practices. And we're actually going to do one, if you don't mind. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring you back. And we're going to do this exercise. Now I'm getting warm. I'm going to take the buff off. Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do with you is we're going to do use an imagery script. We're going to do an imagination. It's called mountain meditation. Okay, so what I'd like you to do for this is just sit back in your chair. Yeah, position yourself well in the chair. And I'm going to read a script. I'm going to talk this out, and you just have to listen and just follow along. And by the end of it, we'll get back to this slideshow. All right, here we go. Just listen. Using the power of imagination to create a sensation-rich experience and a state that can deepen strength, openness, and stability in your body. As you're sitting, begin by sensing into the support you have from the chair. Just notice how your body is resting on the chair. Maybe how your feet are resting on the floor. Maybe how your hands and arms are resting in your lap. And just pay attention to how it feels to make contact with the chair. Just position yourself in a stable way, balance your body in a comfortable posture. Take a moment to connect to your breath. You've done this many times. Do it again right now. Take a moment to connect to your breath. As you breathe, let an image form in your mind's eye of the most magnificent or beautiful mountain you know or you have seen. Let the image of this beautiful mountain gradually come into focus and allow the sense of this mountain to emerge. Its overall shape, its lofty peak or peaks high in the sky, the large base rooted in the bedrock of the Earth's crust, its steep and gently sloping sides. Notice how massive this mountain is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful, whether from afar or up close. Perhaps your mountain has snow blanketing its top and maybe trees reaching down to the base. Or maybe your mountain has rugged granite sides. There may be streams, waterfalls, cascading down the slopes. It may have one peak or a series of peaks. Maybe it has meadows or high lakes. Just think about the mountain in your mind's eye. Observe its qualities. When you feel ready, bring the image of this mountain into your body as you're sitting, so that your body and the mountain in your mind's eye become one. You share in the massiveness and the stillness and the majesty of this mountain. You become the mountain. Grounded in your sitting posture, your head becomes the lofty peak, supported by the rest of the body, and affording this beautiful view. Your shoulders and arms are the sides of the mountain. Your buttocks and legs are the solid base, rooted to your chair and the floor, sensing the overall solidity through your hips and spine. With each breath, as you continue sitting, you become a little bit more of a breathing mountain, alive and vital, unwavering in your inner stillness, completely what you are. Beyond, across the sky, the light and shadows and colors are changing virtually moment by moment in the mountain stillness, and the surface teems with life and activity. There are streams, melting snow, waterfalls, plants, wildlife. The bright warming sun, followed by the cool night sky studded with stars, and the gradual dawning of a new day. There may be rain, clouds, winds, or even snow. And through it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing the change in each moment, constantly changing, yet always just being itself as the mountain. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another and as the weather changes moment by moment and day by day. Now I welcome you to come back to this conversation. I hope you really enjoyed that mountain meditation. I hope that you could see the mountain, could feel the mountain, could be the mountain. And yeah, it's sometimes good to, stretch a little bit again, because we're getting a little, tired and stiff. That's right. When we do an exercise like that. I hope you enjoyed that, and that's another mindfulness practice that we just did. There's your free space right on the bingo card. You just did it. So let's continue with a little bit more. I gotta do this. That was mindfulness practice. Thank you for participating. I hope you enjoyed that. So when you're starting to notice something about how you're feeling, or how you're getting stressed, or how what you're worried or concerned about, the big thing, the big story, the big message here is just express yourself every day. Maybe you want to write it down a little bit in a journal, keeping track, keeping notes. What am I doing? How am I feeling? And that way we're actually putting it down on paper and it doesn't stick in our minds, in our head. We also know that painting and drawing can be very, very soothing. I picked up these exercises on Instagram from Alberta Artistic Swimming that I was working with, and they were putting these pictures on their Instagram account, and they basically invited all their swimmers to pick one and just start coloring, because they say coloring has the ability to relax the fear center of our brain. It is basically the same state as meditating by reducing thoughts of a restless mind. So if you have a restless mind, maybe you want to start coloring, because that really helps soothe in the moment. It's really a good activity to be doing. You can also play music. You can dance to your favorite tunes. That's probably something that you'd like to be doing, express yourself, or you can talk with others. But really that expressing is really, really good. Again, really good ideas for you to work with. I let you pick which one you like. Maybe you like to write it down. Maybe you like to paint or draw. Maybe you like to dance. Maybe you like to talk. Any of those options is really, really good. Social support. Well, if we can see each other for real, then we need to do it online on Zoom or FaceTime. But, it's not always the same, because we like to see each other for real, but it's as close as we can get. And that's still a very good thing. Stay in touch with your friends, stay in touch with your family, stay in touch with your coaches whenever it's appropriate. So just use that to really stay connected. And the last thing I'd like to kind of share with you is about gratitude and acts of kindness. Last winter, when we were in the middle of COVID, I went to a seminar online on Zoom, and this was a researcher that tried to help explain how we can help ourselves be happier. And yes, we can. She has actually done some really interesting research that these things can really help us feel better. We don't have to do it all the time, maybe twice a week, or maybe 3 times, maybe every other day or every week, just once. But what are the things that we are truly, really grateful for? Think about the people that you're grateful to know, grateful to be with. It could be a coach, it could be a teammate. Maybe it's in your family, maybe it's in your school or work. There's many people that can give us this real good sense of gratitude, and they're doing something to us. They're really special to us. Doesn't have to be people. And maybe you had a great workout today. You can be grateful for that. Maybe you did something you did not like today. Maybe you can actually show some gratitude for that. And we know that if we're actually focusing on some of those positives, we actually start to feel a bit better. So this is really, really good idea. And the same goes for acts of kindness. Now, when we do something kind to other, when we are, doing something in favor of someone else, we may actually help someone else. But guess what? It makes us feel better. So yes, you may want to do it for someone else, but, it can also be really healthy, really good, and, for ourselves. And why wouldn't we do that? We can do it for others and ourselves. We just know that if we do these types of things, it really helps in our level of well-being and how we can be happier. Now, does this come like this? No. You probably want to kind of work with this for a bit, for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months even, every week a little bit, and see what it does to you, see what you can get out of it. So how are we doing so far? I've basically finished the first part of our session tonight. And the next part is going to maybe take us maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes or so. And we're going to make it really interactive. Okay. So what I would like you to do, is we're going to use something that I've been using through Zoom and online or distant work. I've been using this a lot. Mentimeter. So this sounds very complicated, but it's not. So I invite you to either pick up your phone or go to another window in your browser and go to www.menti.com. And Kiefer has just put it in the chat, so you can just hit the link. And once you're in menti.com, and I'm gonna then you want to punch in a code, and I'm gonna put that one now in the chat as well. So go to menti.com on your phone or on the browser in a new on the computer, and type in that number 97793191. And this number will be on the next slide as well. So it's not that you have to remember it, but you want to find yourself on the website of menti.com, and then it asks you to punch in a number. And I'm just giving you a bit of time so everyone can kind of get organized. Let me see. Okay. And I'll take a little time in the first couple of slides, because it's just to warm ourselves up. Okay, so I'm going to go to the first question here. And it should pop up in your phone or on the browser, because I've just started it. Have you used Mentimeter before? And now you can choose an answer. It's either yes or no. And we already have 4 people that have 5 people, 6 people that have submitted their answers. And this is very anonymous. We don't know who says what. We just know the total number of people that are going there. I see that Lori has a little bit of trouble, and that's why I give it a little bit of time. So on your phone, go, or in your internet, go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and then you're being asked a code. And the code is in the chat. It's also on the top of this page, I believe. I can't see it because Zoom is in the way, but I believe you can see it on the top of your page, on the top of the screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
So we already have 13 people that have logged their responses. Most people have not done Mentimeter before. A couple have. So it's new to most of you. And I'll give it just another kind of minute or so for people to get organized. We have 14. See if there's anyone else. Okay, so this is just still warm up. So if you kind of want to take your time, we have now 16 people answering, 17, 18. People are really doing well now, finding your way. So when I change this slide, the question in menti.com is going to change. We have 19. See if we can make it 20. 20, yes. We have 20 people responding here. Most people have not done Mentimeter before, but 3 have. 21. Really good job. So we're going to go to the next question. And this is, again, just warm up. Okay. Next question. What animal would you want to be? Okay, now you can type in something in your phone or in the browser. Now you can submit your answer. What animal would you want to be? I always have to really choose between, do I want to be an eagle or do I want to be a bear? But here we have penguin and cat, frog, monkey, deer, dog, puppy. And we'll just wait, give it a few more seconds for more people to type in your responses here. This is really good. So this is what you're all contributing to our meeting here. You know, we know that you want to be a cat or a zebra. Someone wants to be a zebra. That's cool. And in the chat, and that's really good, Laura, you can actually also put it in the chat. So you want to be a horse. So thank you we have 24 submissions here for what animal do you want to be. So I now see also eagle and chicken and unicorn. So thank you for that. Last warm-up question is, do you like roller coasters? And you can choose. Yes, for sure. Can't wait to go again. Depends if I feel like if I feel like it. No, not for me. Or don't know, I would like to try. So what about roller coaster? Remember, this is just warming up. And so we can see that the majority so far, no, roller coasters is not for me. There is a few people that really would like to do it and a few people that would like to try it out. So this works really, really great. We already have 18 people submitting their answers. Remember, this is just warming up and just making sure that you can find your answers, that you can put them in, and so we can work in the next little bit, which are really a little bit more about the peak program itself. Okay, thank you so much for doing it. We have 22 submissions, 23. I'm glad that you're able to make this work. Okay, we have almost even. Yes, no. That's okay. So here's a more serious question. You know, you've been learning so much in peak program and from people like myself or the other facilitators, the other presenters that have been with you. The question that I have here for you is what are some characteristics of a mentally fit athlete? How do you know what are some of those traits? What can you expect to see when you think about what a mentally fit athlete is, how they look, what they do? And you can put your answers in menti.com at this moment, if you don't mind. What do you think is a characteristic of a very mentally fit athlete? Put together, good teammate, a kind athlete, a calm athlete, a rested athlete. I like it. A strong athlete. Really good ideas. Very fit, very positive. Working out at the gym. Laura, I would encourage you to just listen because these words are kind of flying around on the screen. Just listen to me. What else do I see? A focused athlete. Healthy. These athletes eat very healthy. They're patient, a good teammate, organized. I see. So you know what that good, healthy, mentally fit athlete kind of looks like or what they're about. And you can actually ask yourself, how am I showing all of these things? These are all great examples about what you think these athletes can be like. Caring, happy. Thank you very much. You're doing so well by knowing what that mentally fit athlete looks like. Okay, let's do a little bit of a review on the peak program. So the first question, I have 3 questions. The first question is, what did you learn this peak season? Again, on the same menti.com that you already have seen the other questions. The next question is, what did you learn this peak season? Something new, something that you hadn't heard before. Something that caught your eye. Something that was interesting. Great. A lot of different breathing techniques. I learned a little bit more about goal setting. The pizza practice to see where you are. I've seen that session, yes. Staying focused and calm. I learned how to do new things. And I had a blast meeting all those amazing coaches and friends. That's great. Hot chocolate breathing. I learned about hot chocolate breathing the last peak program. That was new to me as well. So then we have to continue increasing my stamina so I'm ready for the soccer season, how to be calm and relaxed, and all the new people that are around. To be more confident in my sport. I'm not sure. I think I was talking about that last week. I'm not sure if you picked it up there, but something that was new to you, something that you've learned. The hot chocolate is very, very popular. Finger 8 breathing. That's great to meet someone new. And you're doing super well. We already have 20 submissions, the loudest breathing possible. I'd like to see that. I'd like to hear that. That would be fun to do, or fun to watch, or fun to work with. Meditation and not overthinking things. Thank you so much. So the next question is, okay, this is what you learned this peak season. The next question is, what did you do well this peak season? So what was something that you were really on top of, something that you were good at, something that you're really strong in, something that's real quality, a real asset in you. I was really having a lot of fun. I was doing well in exercise, the mindfulness, like I was doing that part well this peak season. Well, how great is that? Sticking to my weekly goal. Good job. Good job. That's what you want to do. Keep your eye on it. Living the best life. The Gert. Don't know what that word means, but I'll figure it out. Okay, you're doing really good again. I was good at drinking water, eating healthy. See, I want to know what you're really doing well in this peak program. The yoga and meditation works for someone else. You know, see how nice it is that we don't know who says what, but all these great examples are coming forward. You know, keeping my fitness goals and meditation, being there for my friends and having fun and drinking water. Good job. Now, the second last question is like this. What is something that you found challenging this peak season and want to do that over again and maybe better? So what was something that was more difficult, something that was not easy, something that you was really challenging you? And if you had a chance, or if you can do it again, how would you do it? How would you do it maybe even better? What was something that was difficult this peak season? And if you had a chance, what would you do over again, or more, or better? More walks, maybe the balance workout, maybe do that a little bit more. That's okay. Thank you for sharing. Do a little bit more of that breathing to kind of help with my anxiety. Breathing. You know what? You're breathing every day. You can do it every day. There is no reason why you wouldn't do it. It's just putting your mind to it, just doing it. So maybe you want to put that on your bingo card and say, you know what? That is my challenge for the last week 8 of this peak program 4.0, that I'm going to finish strong and do lots of breathing every day, because that is something that I just realized I can just do a little bit more, a little bit better, a little bit more having fun. Okay. Now, the last question before I'm going to start wrapping this up is, okay, I asked you all this information. You gave all these answers, but let's try to slim it down. Just one thing you take away from this peak season and continue to do. What is the most important thing? What is the best thing that you can take away? It's not to say that all the other thing is not important. It's just what is your choice? What is your priority? What is the one thing you can take away in this peak season and continue to do so? And here we're going to go have those moving words again, Laura. So if you just want to listen, I'll just let you know what's on the screen. You know, what is one thing I can take away from this peak season and continue to do is I continue to dance. I continue to stretch. I continue to do yoga. I continue to work with those YouTube workouts. I continue to exercise more energy. I continue to be happy. I continue to meditate. I continue to be calm. I continue to climb mountains. Why not? Because you're really getting into it. You're doing so excellent, everyone. Thank you for helping me out with this exercise. It's really fun to see how you can contribute to what we're working on here. And I'm gonna because I know what the next question is. Why wouldn't we just no, I'm going to stop share, because I know what the next 2 slides are and they don't add anything to what we're doing. Applause for yourself. Give yourself an applause. You've done really well helping me with this mentimeter exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, Laura, it was a little upsetting, but I hope you're good. This was super fun because I do get to ask those questions, and usually I look at the chat. I need to look at the chat, and all these things are coming through. But in Mentimeter, we can all put it on one slide and we get all your input all together. And you can see how much good work you guys all have been doing and what kind of good examples you have given. Now, these last questions was a little bit of a review on the peak program so far. Remember, week 8 is not done yet. We're just starting it. So you still have a bit of work to do. But this is what I also do in sports and in competition. When you're practicing, when you're competing, I always ask, first of all, what was the best thing? What was the best thing that you did in that event? What did you really like? What did you really do well? Okay, that's what I ask. Okay, what did you learn? And what did you really do well this peak season? What's the best part? I'm also going to ask 2 examples about, is there something else that you could still do or improve or do different or do better? And I'm always asking, okay, give me those 2 that really work well, work out. Give me a couple that you can do different. And what is the one thing that you want to remember going into your next race? What is the one thing that you want to remember going into the next game or competition? Because then we want to kind of have a simple focus. That is what's going to help me be good again, be better. Does that make sense to you all? And we did the same thing really on the peak program here. Okay. Now maybe I'll just put it back because it was really fun before I really wrap it up. There we go. Next question. We're still on the same thing. If you had a chance, if you can be dreaming, if there is another year where we can travel again, which country would you want to travel to? That's kind of the last question that I'm asking you to kind of work with in our Mentimeter, in our poll here. Which country would you want to travel to? Hawaii would be beautiful. Someone said Hawaii, and Laura, I'm going to read it out again to you. So just stay tuned. Ireland. Yes, I've been there. That's a pretty fun country. I'd like to stay in Canada. France, of course. Australia. Australia is marvelous. And so this is really good. We already have 12 submissions, 13 people are chiming in. Singapore. Oh, okay. Maui, Melbourne, Australia. Florida is now on the list. We really want to go through to places, right? I'll give it another, 20 seconds or so before I close this poll. But Brazil, someone just entered Brazil. I want to go to Brazil. That's awesome. Anywhere. Someone wants to just go anywhere. And that's really important to keep dreaming. And that's how I'm really gonna end. Because with setting goals for the peak program, you're setting goals for every week. You're setting goals for 8 weeks of trekking up that mountain. And in the end, we kind of want to, you're almost come to week 8, and then you're going to start dreaming again. What is next? Where can I go next? And maybe in our minds, it's really important to have something that we can dream about, something that we really like to go to, get to do, all of those things, because it just is something to look forward to. Now, at this time, I have done what I wanted to do, so I'm going to open up for a few questions soon. But first, I'm going to give you a password. I think every session you're having a password, and you need the password to collect some points, to keep tracking up that mountain. So this week, it is narwhal. Someone puts it in the chat, maybe. Narwhal. Oh, Kiefer already did. Everyone can see this. Everyone can read it. You're writing it down. You're remembering. Narwhal. Isn't that one of those big whale type? It's probably a mammal with a big kind of horn on the nose. Is that a narwhal? Right. Must be a very special animal. Haven't seen it. Don't see them so often. Yeah. The big spike on the head. This was great. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you got more motivated. I hope that you took something away that you really liked. And I'd like to hear from you. So maybe we can entertain a few questions.
Miranda, go ahead.
Thank you, Frank, for the amazing session, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.
Thank you, Miranda. I appreciate that.
Frank, I really like the Menti. It's informative.
Isn't it fun? It's informative. It's a way that you can interact. It's a way that we can find really good information together.
Maybe I should do it with my family at some point and see what the polls are.
Yeah, it's really fun. You know what? And after the session, I kind of I can make prints, and maybe I send them to Kiefer, because it has all this good information. But it's a really fun way to be using online session like this, Miranda. So thank you for participating.
You're welcome.
All right, we can go to Danielle.
Hi, Frank. I just want to thank you for all the great sessions. I'm just wondering if I could get a copy that I could pass on to my work, because my longtime work, a lot of them are looking for different resources and how to help. And my favorite part of today was your mindful meditation one.
So glad to hear, Danielle, that you like that. I do that with athletes. It's just, as you know, there are so many different mindfulness practice exercises. And I figured this mountain meditation is really fitting in the peak program. So why wouldn't I do that? It's a little bit long, but I hope you enjoyed that and you learned something.
Yes, I did.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. We're going to go to Sarah.
I like the session tonight. It was really good to try new things and different things. And it's good to keep doing it when you need to do the mental things and mindful things.
Yes. Sarah, I really appreciate that you also like to do something new again. I mean, that's why I kind of wanted to, try this mentimeter out, so you can participate in a different way and see what other people are contributing as well. And then I really appreciate also that you value those mental training strategies much. You must be quite experienced about how you use them for yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to hear.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Go ahead, Leonka.
Hey, Frank. I just wanted to thank you for the great sessions, and I really enjoyed that paper with those questions last week, and pairing it to the questions on the one from 2010.
Was that interesting to see for you?
Yes.
Good.
And my favorite thing tonight was the mountain meditation.
Mountain meditation. Thanks for sharing, Leonka. I really appreciate that you're letting me know that what I'm doing is well received. I really wish you can do that type of work for yourself as well.
Thank you. I hope.
Oh, it looks like it muted, Leonka. You can finish. You can unmute yourself.
I just wanted to say, I hope you have a great rest of your night, Frank.
Thank you, Leonka. I appreciate that. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sarah and Andrea have a question. Oh, maybe they do not.
How about Alex?
Alex, go ahead.
Frank,
Hi, Alex.
how's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I would like to thank you for all the hard work that we appreciate that you did for all of us. Many thanks.
So welcome, Alex. I as you know, I've said it many times that I love doing this. I love working with athletes. I love working in sports, and to have the opportunity to do this on Monday nights with you guys is great. I love it too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
That's all we have time for tonight. We also want to say a huge thanks to Frank for joining us once again. We really, really appreciate it. And we will be doing the session with Aaron on Wednesday at 6. So it's a different time. So make sure you guys mark it down that it's at 6 and not at 7. Thank you, everyone.